Great. Mute this over here so we can get going. Welcome. Oh, there's still just a couple more. Just a second. Perfect. Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I know Friday is always a difficult time to try to meet on a Friday morning, especially for those of you that are at our school districts. But we just wanted to spend a little bit of time to provide a quarterly update. There was a bit of information we hope we'd have to share with you by now, but the way things are in the education world right now with new policies and things that are in place, we're still not seeing some of the announcements for grant awards. For some of our schools that we've worked with, we're not seeing those just yet. I think they're going to be a little late being posted as our schools and agencies kind of regroup and figure out exactly how things are going to look and what they're going to be able to do moving forward. But we do expect those very soon as far as the Texas Regional Pathways Network Cohort 5 awards. That's what we expect to see coming first. So we'll provide a little update on that in a few minutes, and we're going to provide an update with you on the strategic plan as we're moving into implementation, and ask you for a little bit of feedback, hopefully. So let's get started. So just reviewing our mission and our vision here, of course, we are proud of the leaders and members that we have involved with the North Central Texas Regional Pathways Network. We know that they are all committed to developing and providing cutting edge CTE programs that are going to prepare students for a bright future. And these are students of all ages. We're not just focused on our K-12 students, but also post-secondary students. And of course, one of our leading strategies for the next 5 years is going to be helping to develop and implement relevant work-based learning programs that truly impact future opportunities for our students in the career field. Our mission is to equip students with the tools they need to conquer the demands of higher education and be competitive in this global workforce. And our vision, what we are building here is a collaborative system to provide North Central Texas individuals the tools that they need to meet the demands of the regional admitting a few more people, demands of the regional workforce and thrive in this fiercely competitive labor market. So we have a poll here that we would like to share out with you. You should have received it in the Teams invite, and if you could respond to that, that would be awesome. Just a second, letting a few more people in here. There we go. All right, and so we'd just like to know how involved your organization is currently in work-based learning initiatives. You could respond to the poll, or you could put it over in chat for us. That would be great. We'd like to know if you're highly involved in multiple programs, or if you're just moderately involved, maybe 1 to 2 programs in the beginning stages, not yet involved, or you're really interested in learning more. I'll give you just a few seconds to respond to that. Awesome. So currently what we are working on throughout North Central Texas, and a few of these are in place, we've got some best practices that we're able to share now with some of our educational partners and our industry partners. But of course, work site tours are very meaningful in the lives of our students. Industry presentations, pre-apprenticeships, internships, job shadowing, technical interviews. I'll talk a little bit more on that in just a moment. Mentorship programs, and then student competitions. Specifically with technical interviews, what we're recommending now to our educational partners and our industry partners are no longer offering what we kind of mock interviews. We see that a lot in some of our CTE programs, especially throughout like CTE month. And mock interviews definitely have a place in like the career development sector. But what we are recommending now is more of a focus on the technical interviews, in that you're pairing students up with a specific industry, and then the technical interviews are going to be geared towards entry-level knowledge that they would need to enter that industry. So for example, information technology. We would know at that point which courses the student may have progressed through, and we provide them with a technical interview that would give them a real-world experience of what it would be like to interview for a job in that sector. And we think that has a lot more value than just sitting down with random students that may not be interested in a career at Southwest Airlines and just interviewing them for a random position. So that's one thing that we're recommending and working on some guidelines and some outlines to help our schools and our partners be able to implement this process. And then, of course, student competitions. Our students are very experienced with this now, in that a lot of them participate with Skills USA and TSA and different programs where they are competing with the CTSOs that are supported by federal funds and state funds at the state level with TEA. But we're also seeing a lot of our industry partners coming out with their own competitions for students that have really specific skills that they're looking for to hire. So for example, electrical trades, they might develop a short 1 to 2 hour student competition that would bring students together looking for a particular skill, and that would give them a bank of students that they might look at to hire or put into an apprenticeship program. So we're seeing a lot of value in some additional types of competitions, and think that that's going to be an area that we're really going to be able to support our schools and our industry partners with. So we're excited about that and excited about working on some more of those pieces. So our regional impact, what we're focusing on now across North Central Texas are really 4 different areas. We're looking at workforce development area coverage, of course, for North Central Texas, but K-12 integration, helping them really expose students to careers earlier and helping them align their high school courses with those careers. And we're not just talking about their CTE programs of study. We're also talking about some of their core academic courses, such as science, math, history, helping them take things that are considered to be our basic core academics and really building out a cross-curricular strategy for that to link that up with the career. How exciting that would be for a student once they get past their basics in their history and ELAR areas, to be able to study about the history of a particular industry and integrate that in with their high school diploma education. So that's one area we're focusing on now. And then higher education alignment, a strategic alignment within the North Central Texas Regional Pathways Network. So creating these really strong partnerships between secondary education and higher education institutions. This is going to provide a much smoother transition for students pursuing further education. I mean, the fact of the matter is our high schools can't always do it all within that 4 years that they have them. And we don't want students in the fall after they graduate from high school to be questioning what the next step is and where they go next. We want their programs of study and their completer status to mean something in terms of their post-secondary transition. And so providing that in terms of guides, effective advising, and helping students make that transition to know if they can step out and go to work and continue their education. We believe there's going to be a lot of value in that for our students. And then our emphasis on high demand industries. So we need to ensure that the credentials that we are dedicating funds for out of our budgets in education really have value in the high demand industries. And especially, y'all know the bulk of my background is in K-12 education. And so the accountability picture there at times feels a little bit like a Monopoly game, if you will. You're trying to check the boxes to build your A through F accountability rating. And, that's a need we have at schools because our funding and all kinds of things are tied to that in K-12 education. But we can all tell you that we don't always, go to sleep at night feeling good about the certifications that students are earning. And we think there's got to be a better place and a middle ground here where we can provide tangible credentials that validate skills, increase their employability, and check those A through F boxes. And so that's going to be one of our other regional impact focus areas. And then finally, strengthening our community initiatives. We want to ensure that our communities are engaged in this process. I often say every time I speak in front of a group of people and we're talking about work-based learning, I'm always reminding our public school districts that in almost every area across North Central Texas, for certain, they are the largest employer in that area. The school district itself is. And if you think about all of the nuts and bolts of a school district, what it takes to operate there, there are so many hands-on opportunities that we can provide students, paid experiences within our school districts that are going to help them build skills. And I'm talking about from the healthcare field to electrical and everything that you can think of pretty much is within a school district. We get a lot of concerned looks when we talk about this, but the fact, if we don't trust our own students, how can we expect them to become trustworthy in the workplace? So, these are things that we really want to help strengthen across our communities and provide them with guides of how they can implement these things and really, hold on, sorry, I'm still admitting a few people, and, and really help them build out strong initiatives that are going to excite people across their community. So this leads into our 2030 strategic vision. I've got a link here on this slide, but you can visit our website at nctxpathways.org. You'll find the 2020 strategic plan there. You can download that. You're also going to find the data dashboard that's going to show you the metrics that we are tracking over the course of the next 5 years to see what we're building here and determine if the work that we're doing is leading to achieving goals and building programs across North Central Texas. But we're looking at long-term workforce development, like I said, the industry alignment goals, educational partnership expansion, technology integration, and then these community impact initiatives. That's one thing that was not a part of our deliverables throughout the last 18 months of our grant work, but I know that community impact, when you're talking about a region like North Central Texas, is huge. And it's definitely an area that we plan to focus on over the course of the next 5 years. Immediately in 2025, we're going to work on enhancing our employer partnerships. And that is like something that's, we can't debate the value of this. This has to be done. We know that K-12, we're really good at asking for industry input. We're good at asking for partnerships. The same thing on the post-secondary side. I feel like our industry partners and potential employers find a higher degree of value in post-secondary partnerships because they feel like the students that are enrolled at post-secondary institutions are closer to entering the workforce. So that led us to ask ourselves, what can we do that's going to benefit our industry partners? Like, this needs to be a mutually beneficial relationship. And we're coming up with some different strategies and actually, live events that we believe will be beneficial for both sides, post-secondary, secondary education, and our employer partnerships. In 2025, we also plan to expand these work-based learning opportunities, and keeping in mind that we need to think outside of the box. I think initially when we think of work-based learning, we think of paid employment for students, or we think of a job shadowing or an internship situation that's going to last a month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, the entire school year. And we know that work-based learning doesn't always have to fit that mold. Work-based learning opportunities, providing hands-on opportunities for students, can take place over an 8-hour day, over a 3-day camp. And students having the opportunity to have hands-on experiences within a particular industry, it's going to immediately grow their interest in that career field. So we're going to work on expanding those opportunities and providing some shorter, quicker, easy to implement um, events for some of our students that maybe aren't quite ready to step into the workforce, but they're getting close. And then we're also going to be focusing on strengthening these educational alignments, again, stakeholder engagement, and improving data tracking across all agencies. There are a few very simple things. We've been reaching out and speaking with legislators in partnership, not as a lobbyist, but just with ideas and suggestions for very simple things that would improve our ability to track data, as well as the ability for our school districts and our post-secondary organizations to track some very important data around work-based learning. Otherwise, we're relying on a lot of self-reporting, and it just doesn't lead to trustworthy data to analyze. It leads to, a lot of pats on the back and us saying that we're doing these things, but we don't really know what it looks like. We've pulled a lot of data reports with descriptions of work-based learning that are like 3 words long, but we have no idea exactly what that piece was. And some of those data pieces are directly from the tri-agency. So it's not saying that anything's being done wrong. It's just saying that we need to really improve the data that we're tracking and make sure it's relevant and meaningful within the Regional Pathways Network. So this is our framework that we're rolling out now as we travel around and visit with our school partners. And we're excited about this. We're most excited about probably the last little green brain head there, the technical skill development, because that's where we are looking at ensuring that our certification pathways and the career readiness programs are actually leading to skill development aligned with our high wage, high need career fields across North Central Texas. That's not to say there's not value in any type of a career skill that a student builds, but our focus here within the Regional Pathways Network is the high wage, high need career fields. And so we're focused on 5 of those 5 industries over the course of the next year. And then we will come back around and with our executive leadership team, and we're going to reevaluate those and determine if there still is a gap there, and see how we've done, kind of evaluate ourselves on the data outcomes. But we're looking at K-12 CTE program integration, higher education alignment again, and then, like I said, what I'm most excited about is the technical skill development. We just need to ensure that students are actually focused on the hands-on expertise required for in-demand careers, and not necessarily the textbook pages or the curriculum pages that have been provided for them by what we're purchasing to use to teach these courses. So that's what we really need our industry partners to help us develop these training programs that reflect the current industry standards and, of course, emerging job market needs. That's something we really rely on Candy Slocum for, because she's a wizard in this area, looking at the emerging job market, the jobs that we're not seeing openings for yet, but we know they're coming in the next, we used to say next 5 years. Now it's like the next year. A year down the road, we're going to see jobs on the market that we had never even thought of. So we need to make sure that we're staying fresh, and we're able to pivot and adjust our curriculum to meet the emerging job market needs. And again, this is our employer engagement strategy. This is how we are hoping that we can partner with them in a mutually beneficial type relationship, and making sure that they feel like they're valued for their contribution to this strategy and to this initiative, but they also are able to give a hand up and help out our educational organizations. So direct industry involvement, workplace learning opportunities. And like I said, that's not always offering somebody a job or an apprenticeship. Although there's great value in those, we can partner with our education partners and our industry potential employer partners, and we can develop work-based learning opportunities that are not a heavy lift and don't require a ton of time and a ton of resources. Our research is showing there's great impact in even just a one-day hands-on work-based learning opportunity for a student. One day, and that can completely change a student's projection throughout their educational career. I know, it makes me think of when I had the best job in the world at one time. I spent an entire year taking students to tour colleges. Just we went to community colleges, we went to universities, we went all over the state of Texas. We also went to Oklahoma State, University of Arkansas, anything in the region that would be a viable place post-secondary education for our high school students. And what I found, I had different students on every trip. Some students went on more than one, but it was different students on every trip. And what I found is that the very first place I took students to, the very first college that they visited, it didn't matter if the second one or the third one was a better fit for them. They fall in love with the first one they visit. And that's the only thing that would do. And, the thing is that one of the first trips we took was to Baylor. And so those kids, they didn't want to go anywhere but Baylor. And so I decided if I continued that position, Baylor would not be a first trip any longer, because that's not always the wisest choice for a student. This is very, very expensive. But anyway, it's the same thing here that research is showing us here. One day, 1 hour, any type of hands-on work-based learning opportunity for students can really sway their decision towards a specific career. So we want to work with our employer partners and education partners to make that happen. Career pathway development, industry mentor programs, and addressing the skills gap, of course, is going to be one of our leading strategies. Okay, and then we've got our focus on professional development that we're providing with our, oh wait, sorry, I think that went one too fast. Apologize. Like I was telling you with our website, we are still adding a few pieces to it, but it's operational now, working much better. We believe we've found all of the kinks and we're working that out. And so what we're going to be tracking, this is just a very high level overview, because our implementation plan over the next 5 years will have us tracking approximately 100 different data points related to regional pathways. And that's across K-12 education, higher education, work-based learning, apprenticeships, pre-apprenticeships, you name it. CTE program of study completers. We're also looking at accountability measures. We're looking at how our school districts, we have over 100 within North Central Texas, how they're using their CTE allotment with their CTE FTEs, are, because that's the teachers that they're paying. Is that in alignment with the high wage, high need careers? And so this is a high level overview of what we're tracking there. We'd like to invite you to visit it and peruse through the different data points and find your school if you're one of our K-12 or higher ed partners and see how you're doing there. And then that helps us identify ways that our team would be able to help and assist with the Regional Pathways Network initiatives. And one way that we're going to do that is through our virtual training opportunities. We have a wide range of technical support resources. We partner with schools frequently on their grant applications at no cost. We help them write their grants. We have industry-specific workshops, educational partner training, and then we're looking for continuous improvement programs, such as we have several schools that are working through the effective advising framework with the Texas Education Agency, and we've seen great strides there in terms of what that's led to, not just advising, but also improvement across their CTE programs and their academic programs of study. And then this is also some of the further pieces of data that we're looking at: student participation rates, employer engagement levels, career placement statistics. That one is extremely challenging to try to pull data that we think is reliable. Industry certification achievements. These are just some data points that we're looking at. And then on our side, our team at FactEd and for the North Central Texas Regional Pathways Resource Development, we're still building out different online learning programs. We've got some TSIA resources that we've published recently in collaboration with some of our teachers, industry-specific materials, documentation for training and for training programs, such as your practicums, career preparation, best practice guides, and then implementation toolkits. Implementation toolkits are a big need for a lot of our schools. They're growing so rapidly. So our next steps as we wind this up, I promised everybody I would try to keep it to 30 minutes, and I'm getting very close. Our immediate action items, we're looking for these partnership opportunities. So we're looking for employer partners that just have the desire to partner with post-secondary or K-12 education in terms of developing some work-based learning opportunities for students. And I say work-based learning opportunities lightly. I don't mean that it's not important, but I want our employer and industry partners to understand that we're not looking for a handout. We're not looking for money. We are looking for true partnerships with us here at our agency, because we can help you make these connections and help you facilitate a work-based learning opportunity that's going to benefit your company and is going to benefit our students in a way that doesn't make you feel like you're putting your company at risk in the liability area. It doesn't even have to be on site at your company. So we have lots of different locations that we're able to do these types of events at, and we would love to partner with you to make that happen and help you make these introductions and get to know our students and get to know our educational partners. Resource development, that's something that we're deeply engaged in, our team here at FactEd, and working on every day. We contract out with teachers, which is a great benefit for them because they're always looking to supplement their income. And so when we find a teacher that we think has the knowledge and the skills that we need to develop a resource, we rely on their expertise to develop this resource and deploy it to our schools. Engagement strategies, and then we're working on kind of refining our timeline of progression. 5 years is a long time when we're looking at a strategic plan and implementation. So we're trying to remain flexible and adaptable as things change moving forward so that we'll be able to adjust and meet the needs of the region. And then finally, this is our last slide here. I will share this out with all of you that visited that attended the meeting today. I'll share the slides and we will also share the recording with you. And so you'll have these links here, but we just want to invite you to reach out to any of us here or hello@ctetexas.org. And with any questions or needs that you may have, you may think of something that we have not thought of yet, or have a situation or a scenario going on that we haven't occurred yet. So we're happy to partner with you and help you try to find a solution. And then, follow us on LinkedIn and Facebook for our future events. We post everything there, and we want to make sure that we connect with you with our blog post and resources as they become available. Right. If anyone has any questions, I'm happy to open the floor to that. Or if you have any comments you'd like to share with the group, I would love to hear them. Oops, I can see this. Good to see everyone. Okay, I'm looking at the chat here. Let me give you a minute and I'll see what I see here if we've got anything. Yes. So we've got, hold on. There's a lot here. I'm scrolling back now, guys. Yes. So I was seeing here that TSTC was saying that they are highly involved in work-based learning, and I do know that. And then, of course, Navarro College as well. They are also highly involved in work-based learning. And, it's just, I can't stress enough the value in these post-secondary partnerships. Collin College, Dallas College isn't in our region specifically, but that's kind of debatable. We always talk about how there's so much overlap across North Central Texas, Dallas and Tarrant County that it's worth mentioning that all of our post-secondary institutions those relationships are so valuable to K-12, and I'm constantly asking, who is your post-secondary partner when they come up with an issue about not being able to find a teacher? That is the largest problem that we have in K-12 right now. They have the desire to implement electronics engineering, IT programs, anything that's in the high wage, high need. They want to offer these programs, but they can't locate a teacher. And so I'm constantly telling them, you've got to reach out to your post-secondary partner, because that's your best friend in terms of being able to provide these opportunities for students. They're able to use their one adjunct or their one professor across several different schools, and also collaborating to bring that in where we have 2 students here and 3 students here. We have so many small rural school districts across North Central Texas. And so, they're just your best friends. I can't stress that enough. So, okay, anything else here? Okay, so Micah Tannery said, I would like to know how schools put together all of their internship opportunities for students. I'm working on companies right now to get on board for next year so we can identify our students this semester that are interested. So does anybody here have any feedback for Mr. Tannery?
This is Tara Peters with Navarro. One of the ways that we do this, I'll give you an example, is in our welding program. And so we actually use our advisory committee. And so we host those meetings in the spring, and then we know from the pipeline the students that are going to need internships, because ours are in the fall. And so we start that coordination with our spring advisory committee meeting. And so that's one way that we've done it that we have found to be helpful to us, and it gets the students on ramp. It's not a district, it's with Navarro College. So, but that may be, I don't know if your programs use advisory committees, but that's how we've done it as a college.
Mr. Tannery, which district are you with? Denton. He's in Denton ISD. Yeah, okay. And so, I would think I know Denton, depending on who your partner is there with Denton, I think they cross into a couple of different ones actually, but North Central Texas, like I said, they really are your best friend. So I would also reach out to them and ask them, what they're seeing there. It's just that because of the age of the students at our post-secondary institutions, they're more connected with the employer partners, because those students are going to graduate and their next step is to go to work. Whereas with our high school students, that's not always the next step. We wish it was, but their next step is a lot of times post-secondary education, and they may not work at all during that time. So, our employers, they're busy. And so they reach out to the people that they think can give them people to go to work. And that's going to be our post-secondary institution. So I would definitely reach out and talk with them and see what they're doing, and see how you can partner with them. And then also, I think connecting with your economic development boards, your chamber of commerce. I mean, there's a lot of value in just attending a lunch every other month with your chamber of commerce, because, you sit down and eat with them and are able to ask questions. So, I can't, sometimes it's the little things that have the greatest impact. So, anyone else?
Yeah. Linda, I would like to piggyback on what you just said, because when I'm doing partnerships, that's the first place I go, is to the Chamber of Commerce, because even very small communities will generally have a Chamber of Commerce, and they need that skilled workforce. So we can, it's easy to ask them to partnership and even start a program within their, or a committee within their chamber to help do their partnerships with districts. And especially now when we can use virtual training and introductions, that really helps those small areas, the small businesses.
Yeah, for sure. And and I think also other, like Candy's retired from Interlink, but Interlink is, I don't know if Daphne's on this meeting or not. I can't really see everything, but also keeping connected to these organizations like Interlink that are, they kind of look at their forecasting in a little different, from a different direction, not just targeted occupations, but the emerging occupations, connecting with organizations that are looking at that. Because, we move kind of slow in public education, knowing that they're forecasting some AI career that's going to blow up in 3 or 4 years, and us being able to start working on that now. I mean, it takes us a couple of years to put these programs into place. And that's the reason why us in education don't really know yet how to deal with AI. AI works much faster. Like, by the time we figure out how we're going to deal with AI submissions on assignments, they've already come up with something that's going to combat that, So anyway, that's great.
Well, it is.
Okay, Denton ISD.
Now AI is changing daily too.
It is. It's changing daily. And, I think just being able to pivot and adjust, and I'm constantly saying we need to move quicker in education, but, yeah, it's not always possible. So, and I see here that they're saying that Denton ISD TSTC has been approved to offer higher education technical programs. They're going to be opening a new campus in Denton County area soon. Wow, I bet, I don't know if anybody, I think there's somebody on here from Texas Instruments, but I bet they're super excited about that. So I'm just saying, I bet TI is over the moon about that. So that's great news. Very exciting.
We are excited.
Okay. Yeah. So, we were waiting to hear back from the state agency. We worked with several school districts on a couple of grant applications. I planned to be able to talk about that today. They were supposed to announce them in mid-January, but you'd think I would know better. So those are going to be late coming announcements. If y'all are waiting on that, we're right there waiting along with you. And we'll be able to share that information with you very soon. If there's no other questions, I will let you guys get back with it, but I'm happy to hang around and chat with anyone that has anything they need to discuss or anything they're needing assistance with. We really appreciate you joining us today. Have a great day. These are all note taker accounts. I have those too. Those are kind of interesting. They, the ones that are left here are note taker accounts, like that take notes in the meeting. It's like these little AI note takers. So,
okay.
Yeah. I'm going to stop the recording now. Hold on.
It's not 11 o'clock. Yeah. I think it's 11. Yeah. Jay's got to get to her too.
I need to.
There we go. Stopped it.